Hi friends, welcome back to Faith and Arrow Homestead. My name is Jaylee and today we're going to start some seeds together, and I figured while we were starting seeds we could have a chat. I have 3 different seed starting dates as well as a 4th direct sow date, and this is the 2nd seed starting date. So we're starting all sorts of stuff. I have a pile of tomatoes, a couple of herbs, tomatillos, and ground cherries that are going to go into this prepared tray that I have here. And then over here I've got a bunch of different flowers, Brussels sprouts, calendula, chamomile, a lot of different things that are going to go in the 2nd tray. And I figured we could just go ahead and chat. So I'm not really going to talk to you so much about the seed starting. I can go through really quickly and read to you what tomatoes I'm growing. I've got a lot of different varieties we're going to try this year. We are moving where I'm growing the tomatoes, and we're going to be doing things a little bit differently with them this year. And I've got a lot of different varieties. Some of these were sent to me by my new friend Gary, who I've been talking to through social media, and he has mailed me several seeds. So Gary, thank you. We're starting a lot of them this year. But I've had several people reach out to me and say, why have you been kind of MIA? I haven't been uploading to YouTube quite as much. I've not really been as active on here, and I was really doing well there for a while, uploading. I was making decent money from my channel, and I've kind of fallen off, and I've had some people reach out to me and kind of say what's going on. So I figured I would go ahead and address that. I probably should have done this a while ago, but I've been putting it off. So we're going to talk today really quick though before we get started. From Haas Tools, I'm growing the Roadster tomato. From M.I. Gardener, I'm growing the Subarctic Plenty tomato. For the 3rd year in the row from Baker Creek, I'm growing the Martino's Roma tomato. This is my paste tomato. I make sauce with this. It's a great tomato. Again, for the 2nd year, I'm doing the Thornburns Terracotta tomato. For the 3rd year in a row, I'm doing the black cherry tomato. This is my absolute favorite. It's somewhere between a grape and a cherry. It's not quite as small as a cherry, but it's not quite as big as a grape. And this has been my MVP. I absolutely love this tomato. So we will be growing that. And then I also have, Gary sent me the Chef's Choice black tomato. It is an indeterminate medium large size. The Mortgage Lifter tomato, this is an heirloom seed, and I've heard of the Mortgage Lifter, so we're going to give that a shot. And then the thing that prompted him to send me seeds in the first place, the Sun Sugar Cherry Tomato. I did not have great luck with cherry tomatoes last year, and I was complaining about it in one of my videos, and he said, I've got some seeds for you to try, and that's what prompted him to send me seeds, and he ended up sending me quite a few, even more than these. I'm not growing all of them that he sent me this year because I don't have the space. Those were the ones that I settled on. We're also going to try pineapple tomatillos. We are going to do ground cherries again. And then in this same tray, I'm going to start summer savory, and I'm going to start my basil. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to plant away while I talk with you. So we are in March. At the end of January, beginning of February, I had another miscarriage, my 2nd miscarriage. And I'm going to be honest with you, it was actually... this is going to sound terrible to say, but it was actually very good for me. Anybody who has had a miscarriage, when you are pregnant after you've had a miscarriage, your very first thought is, am I going to lose this one? And it was. Literally, I took that first pregnancy test, and right after, that was my second thought, was, am I going to keep this one? And I was spiritually a lot more mature this time versus when I had my first miscarriage in July. And so as soon as I got that first pregnancy test, I surrendered it to God. And I said, you already know how this is going to turn out. I'm not going to stress about this. I'm not going to try to control this. I'm surrendering it to you completely. And there was roughly 3 days after taking that first pregnancy test where I was pregnant and nobody knew. I hadn't told Tom yet. And it was a very intimate 3 days with God. I did a lot of praying, and I did a lot of internal strengthening, in that I wasn't going to let my emotions run away from me. I was going to make sure that I really, truly trusted God. I did so much journaling over those 3 days, and I kept telling myself, this is going to make me stronger. This is going to make me stronger. And I made sure that it did. And so this miscarriage, I say that it was good for me because it actually really helped me heal from my first one. Also, this one was a lot less traumatic. I kind of knew what to expect. I wasn't as far along this time. It wasn't as big of a deal medically. And I felt so much peace about it. So fine. Now, moving on from the emotional side of it, this miscarriage has wrecked me physically. And this is why I've been MIA. Not so much emotionally. I'm emotionally doing pretty well. Physically, I'm a freaking mess, and it's driving me crazy because I've had a full year of healing and a whole journey with food that you guys have seen unfold on this channel. And I feel like I'm going backwards. It's so frustrating. I'm a mess. I have gained a bunch of weight. I've been struggling with acne really bad, although I think right now actually my face looks okay, but I have days where I'm literally, and I did not struggle with acne growing up. I was very fortunate. I hardly had any in high school, just the occasional period pimple. My face has always been very clear. I've gotten a lot of compliments over the years on my skin. My mom has great skin. I've got her skin. So the acne has been hard for me in terms of self-image. My hair has thinned horribly. So I'm heavy. I've got acne. My hair is thin. So just my self-image has been wrecked, and that's been really hard for me in person and also being on camera. I filmed a video the other day, and I took one look at myself and deleted it. I was like, nope, not putting that on the internet, which is terrible. And again, don't worry, it's my own self journey. I'm working on, I've been journaling about it. I'm working through my feelings of like self-image and all of that. So we'll get there. It'll be all right. But I've been dealing with that. Worse than that though, because that's all just like personal stuff. Worse than that, my anxiety and my headaches have come back. I had a full-blown panic attack the other day. I'm talking like a really bad one. Like, oh, I hate panic attacks. And the reason I got on medication for them in the first place is because my panic attacks are very fight or flight, and they can lead to some negative thoughts because it's kind of that whole make it stop mentality, and that scares me. And panic attacks used to be a bit beyond what I found myself capable of reasoning through. That hasn't been the case. I've been dealing with them a lot better since I've started having them again, but the fact that I'm having them again has been really difficult for me because I went a whole year and I was basically telling people that through diet I healed my anxiety disorder. I've been saying that, and I've started having them again. And then I'm also just hormonally a disaster. Like, my temper is very short. I'm dealing with some symptoms of depression. I don't want to say I'm depressed because it comes and goes. So symptoms of depression, I have days where it's very hard for me to get out of bed. I have days where it's very hard for me to get off the couch. And I can feel that it's hormonally driven because of the way it comes in waves. It feels very PMS-y, if that makes sense, or it feels very early pregnancy, if you've ever been pregnant, when you were just like, gosh, you're a yo-yo, you're all over the place emotionally. I've been feeling that way for a while now, well, since my miscarriage, and I'm so over it. It has been so difficult for me to reconcile. And I'm praying through it. I'm just saying, God, I'm going to come to you when I've got it together, and I'm going to come to you when I don't. I'm real messy right now, and I don't like how I'm feeling, and I want it to stop, and I'm still going to worship you and praise your name because you are still good even when I don't feel good. And I kind of think that's what this is about. It's teaching me, building my spiritual foundation and building my spiritual maturity and helping me learn how to navigate these difficult times, because I will likely also feel this way postpartum when I have a whole baby to take care of. So, I'm fine with it from a lesson standpoint and from a learning spiritually standpoint, but the rest of it, I really just want it to go away. I want to feel like myself again. I have so not felt like myself in a couple months now, and it's been really hard. So the other thing is, I think that right there is reason alone for me to say, yeah, I've not really been present on YouTube. But it goes a little further than that. I let's see, how do I say this? I pray and ask God for creative ideas for YouTube. I take no credit. I give all the glory to God for the 200 and some odd videos that I have on this channel. I sit down, there are certain days of the week where I sit down with a notebook and I pray and I say, God, what content are we creating? Who are we supposed to reach? How can we help your kingdom, your children and your kingdom? What are we making videos about? And I'm serious, guys. He gives me ideas. Like, the Holy Spirit moves and gives me these ideas. And I roll with them. And usually I feel very motivated to do them. Sometimes the ideas hit me so hard and so fast that I have a hard time keeping up with them. So I firmly believe that the videos for this channel come from God based on who I'm supposed to reach and how I'm supposed to help his kingdom. And I love that. And so since the miscarriage, I have been creatively dry as a freaking bone. No ideas, literally none. I sit down and I try and nothing comes. And I'm praying and I'm asking God, what are we doing? Why am I not having any ideas? Yada, yada. Nothing. Absolutely dry as a bone creatively. And so I've said this before on this channel and I'll keep saying it. I really try so very hard to be obedient. And when stuff like this happens, I feel like that's God telling me, well, no, sister, I'm not giving you any ideas because this isn't what I want you to be doing right now. I really feel called to a season of rest right now. Very much feel called to a season of rest. And so I have been. I have had a couple of videos go up since my miscarriage because I had the ideas and I felt good about it. I don't think necessarily that he's called me to give up YouTube. And that has happened in the past. I have been called to give up YouTube in the past. I've got 2 instances on this channel where I've announced I'm taking a break. I didn't really feel like that was what I needed to do. I just felt more so that I needed to kind of not worry about it. Like, you know, if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, and I'm not going to stress about it. That's kind of more how I've been feeling. And I've been rolling with it, you guys. And I haven't let myself feel bad about it. I've got days where literally, if I can load and unload the dishwasher, I've accomplished something. And that's just where I'm at right now. And I'm not going to worry about the algorithm because that's the big stress, right? And at least for me, that's what I used to think. And that is heavily influenced by people like Becky from Acre Homestead. Like she has said before, I've never missed an upload. I will always bring you a video. What is her schedule? Like every other day or something like that. I'm gonna stick to this. I've made a commitment. This is my job. I'm gonna work it like it's my job. And I love that for her. I'm not hating. But those are the kinds of ideals that I was holding myself to, and I had to let that go. I actually kind of had to let that go towards the end of last year and be like, I don't think I can be that kind of YouTuber. I really don't think I have that in me. I think I need to be, and I don't think I should. I think I should be the kind of YouTuber, the kind of person who follows the seasons, the ebbs and the flows, the gives and the takes that God gives me. And if I'm being called to a season of rest, I'm not going to ignore it for the sake of the algorithm. If I'm being called to rest, I'm going to rest. And that's the mentality that I've had. And so I have been feeling called to rest, and I have been resting, more or less. And I think it's been really helpful. But you guys do deserve, as my audience, to get an update. And I've been wanting to bring you one. I just wasn't ready to talk about the miscarriage yet. So I've been putting it off. But I've had more and more people asking me, like, what's going on? Where have you been? So I figured now was a good time today while we start seeds. I felt ready. So here we are talking about it. I do not feel that YouTube is coming to an end. I have not been getting that feeling at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if I woke up next week just inundated with like a bunch of really cool creative ideas that I'll be able to bring you. Whenever he's ready, he'll give them to me, I'm sure. Yeah, so that's kind of where I have been at. I've just been healing from my miscarriage, and I've been really learning a lot about myself through this season and struggling with the feelings of inadequate identity and self-image and battling through that, and then just trying to get through, honestly. Like, I meant it when I said there are days where I have a hard time getting out of bed, and I'm not that kind of person is what makes it hard. I'm very much a morning person, and I wake up every morning excited for the day. What are we doing today, God? How can I serve your kingdom today? What tasks do I have planned for the day? I can't wait to get after them. I'm a very motivated person, very much enjoy work and following my creative pursuits, and I love all of it. And I have not been feeling that way at all. I've been feeling the opposite. Like, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, can it just be nighttime so I can go back to sleep? And that's depression, you know? I think that many of us have experienced that in one way or another, in one season or another. And it's fine. God's with me. He understands. He knows how I'm feeling. And this is just a season and it will pass. But you guys deserve the truth. So there it is. Miscarriage number 2. Also, I am struggling with the one thing that I will say that the miscarriage is really making me struggle with. I thought I was pregnant. Again, this cycle, the March cycle, I thought I was pregnant. I was 5 days late on my period, which I realize now is I'm sure it's because of the miscarriage. It's thrown my cycle off. I wasn't pregnant, took pregnancy tests and whatnot, but I had a couple really hard days, missed period day number 2 and 3, I think. Oh my gosh, they were such hard days. And I told Tom, I was like, I can't take a pregnancy test. I didn't want it. I was afraid to take a pregnancy test. I actually have a whole video that I filmed. It was really for me. It was like a video journal entry. I'm not uploading it, and it was really for me, but I filmed it and I was like, I can't take a pregnancy test because every time I take one, I miscarry. And so, you know, that's hard. And these are the kinds of things I realize make people angry and upset with God, because I feel like something has been taken away from me. And that is peace of mind. Every pregnancy I have for the rest of my life, I'm going to worry the whole time that I'm going to miscarry. And I'm going to have stress around whether or not I'm going to get to keep the pregnancy. And I feel like that excitement, and that's what I told Tom, because originally the first pregnancy, I was like, I was excited to tell him and I wanted to do like a cute surprise or whatever. And I ended up not being able to do that because I had to tell him that I was miscarrying. And he was like, he asked, he was like, next time, because we thought it was a one-off. So he was like, next time you're pregnant, can you, do something cute? And I was like, yeah, of course. I wanted to for this one. I will definitely do something cute. And so because I got to be pregnant for 3 whole days this last time before I miscarried. And so for those 3 days, I was like, I bought something off of Amazon. I had this whole cute idea planned. And then when I miscarried, I had to tell him. And I was like, I'm sorry I didn't get to do something cute. So then this third time, this cycle, when I thought I was pregnant, which I wasn't, I went to him sobbing. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I can't tell you in a cute way that I think I'm pregnant, because I'm a mess. Like, I can't go through this by myself. And I told him, I was like, I need to take a pregnancy test, because if I am pregnant, I should probably go to the doctor ASAP. I said, but this is not exciting for me anymore. This is not fun. This is hard and emotional and really scary. And so that's what I mean when I say I feel like something has been taken away from me. This is no longer the fun, joyous, exciting experience that I always just assumed I'd have as a woman in my childbearing years. I've always thought that like getting that positive pregnancy test was going to be so fun and so exciting. And it's the beginning of a journey and oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. And it is so not that anymore. It is terrifying and so emotional. I cried so much those few days. And literally, guys, like I just put like a worship music playlist on the stereo that we have in the dining room, and I just laid in the floor and sobbed, like ugly cried for like a half an hour. And I feel like something has been taken away from me. But and this is, I'm still working through this myself. Like, but what? How do I reconcile that to myself spiritually? Like, how do I have this bad thing, this sad, hard thing in my life, and still have that same relationship that I've had with God, and not let that relationship be tainted by my anger and the injustice of it all? And I'm still puzzling that out myself. However, I think the way I think the answer to this, which I'm like I said, I still am getting there myself, and I need to journal about this and process this more. But I think the thing that you have to do when you are in these difficult spiritual situations is hang on to the truth of God's character, because through his word, we are given some truths, some eternal, never changing, always constant truths. God's plans for me are for good. God himself is good. God knows my name. He knows my heart. These are truths that we can hang on to that never, ever change. And so even when we're going through a difficult time, or we feel like there's a shadow over us, or we feel like there's an injustice, or something's been taken away from us, or something like that, these truths never, ever change. And so that's what I've been clinging to. I've been singing it. I've been crying it. I've been screaming it. I've been saying it out loud. I've been saying it in my head. I keep saying them over and over again, because I think as Christians, that's what we're called to do. We're not always going to have all of the answers. And that's just a fact. That's another one of the facts. We're not always gonna know. And I just have to rest and be still and trust that God is good and that his plans for me are for good. And that's that. No argument. There is no talking me out of that. There is no, well, this terrible thing, or you're going through this and this is unfair. There's none of that. I have to hang on to these truths. And so that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with it. Anyway, with all of that being said, I am just getting up every day and doing the next thing that I feel I'm supposed to do. Today, it's starting seeds and talking to you. Tomorrow, it's going to be whatever tomorrow brings. And I'm not thinking too much about what I should be doing, or what I could be doing. That's just not the way my brain is working right now. So I don't know when I'm going to see you guys again. But I'm always on Instagram. I still upload to my stories almost every day. I've had a lot of people message me. I'm very responsive in my messages. So if you ever want to chat, feel free to message me. And this channel is not over. I feel that very much. I definitely don't think this channel is over. I don't think I expected this video to be a devotional. I think I'm gonna have to put the devotional label on this one, because this was very much just me talking about God the whole time. And I try to make sure that I label those, but it's hard not to. He's central to it all for me. So it's difficult for me to bring you, I can't talk about my miscarriage and not talk about God. It's literally impossible for me to do that. So I don't know so much that I meant for this to be a devotional, but so I'll label it that way. But for those of you so kind who have messaged me and expressed concern, yeah, it's been tough over here. It has been tough. There has been a lot going on, and yeah, and I hope that it makes you guys, I was thinking about this earlier today when I was thinking about what I wanted to say in this video. I hope for some of you, you might not care, but for those of you who do, I hope that you take comfort in knowing that I am a YouTuber who is very much dedicated to what God wants me to do and what he wants me to share. And I really do feel like I feel more intimately tied to you guys because of that. I'm like, okay, every time I get a video idea, I'm like, who are you meaning to speak to through this, God? Who are you wanting to reach in this video through me and my words? That will be watching this. Who are you trying to reach? And I really do feel like a vessel for God's glory. And I love that. It gives me so much purpose and really helps me feel like I'm talking to somebody. Like I'm looking at a camera, but I feel like I'm talking to a person, because I am. I absolutely believe that God is using me through this channel to reach whoever it is he needs to reach, whoever he's trying to reach. And so when you're choosing your channels, when I'm choosing my channels, I think about that. I'm not saying that I only watch Christian channels, because that's not the case. But when I am watching a Christian channel, there have been times, Deep Nutrition by Dr. Catherine Shanahan, I heard about that book through a Christian YouTuber, and she said it in passing, and it hit me That's why I read the book. It hit me so hard. I thought to myself, God meant for me to hear that. I was meant to hear that. And so I say that I hope it gives you confidence that I am a Christian YouTuber, because he very well could reach you directly, right to your ears and your heart and your spirit, through something that you hear on this channel. And that gives me, like I said, so much purpose. Like, this is so much more than just teaching you about seed starting and cooking. So anyway, I so appreciate you guys hanging out with me and always listening and being so supportive. I will absolutely please take your prayers. I've been praying life over my womb. I've been claiming it and proclaiming it, and it'll happen. It will happen when the time is right, in God's time. I fully believe that, but I will accept your prayers as well if you don't mind. And I can't wait to see you in my next video, whenever that might be. Have faith, my friends, and keep moving forward. Bye.